Whew, Merry pre-Christmas here. At the tree in the background. All right. Normally, when I go live on Friday nights, I'm in my office and I'm out of town until after the holidays, and I got a little bit of I had some sinus cold here, so waiting for a couple of you guys to get on here. I don't know why we all say that, but it is what it is. Early Merry Christmas. Hope you guys are well from Cop Talk Live. Couple different things. This is the last live I'm going to do on Friday before it's before the end of the year, 2025. Next couple of Fridays, I've got holiday parties, and we obviously have Christmas coming up, so I'm not going to go live with you guys and your families and all that stuff. So we'll be back after January. I think January is the 9th. Friday will be the first live I'm back, so I'll be back then. So if you're watching on replay, hey, welcome, Cop Talk Live. Normally I'm in the studio. I got green screen set up, and we wind up having conversations to take your calls. If this is the first time you're watching, we talk about law enforcement content. But for today, considering the fact that I'm stuffed up, I'm not going to be on long. I'm going to be talking about some things, and then when I'm back in the studio I'm going to look right now really quickly. To be clear about this, so this is the last live of 2025, but the next one will be at January 9th will be the next live that I go after today. So thanks everybody for 2025 for making this a huge process and progressive success here on Cop Talk Live on YouTube. You guys are fantastic. Again, phones are not open today, but starting January 9th, we'll be back up in the studio. I want to talk about today really quickly because I put a comment up on social media, something that I do quite often, which is something you'll never see me do, is that I don't ever celebrate cops who are killed in the line of duty. It's just not something I do. I've never felt comfortable with it. I actually think it's extremely disingenuous when I do that. I'll look really quickly. I gotta find your commenters. When you guys do comment, again, I don't want to neglect you. I don't think it's fair to take somebody who is killed in the line of duty that I never met and put him up online and say this is a hero. I don't. And I've talked about this for a long time. The last cop that I honored was Commander Chris Cortez of the Round Lake Beach Police Department, who passed away earlier this year. And I celebrated him online because I knew him personally, because I worked with him personally. And that man actually affected my career in a very positive way. So I celebrated him. But every time you have an officer who falls in line of duty, this is going to sound really shitty, and I don't care who thinks anything about it. I do not know why we celebrate their deaths, meaning not celebrating them being killed, but we honor them. This is a hero. This, that, and you rarely ever hear the manner in which they died. This is going to sound really shitty for a lot of you who support the police. I don't think that just because somebody got killed on duty makes them a hero, and this really sucks. I'll tell you why. I don't know what their character was. How many times do we hear about an officer who was truly killed in line of duty, and that person was of good moral character? The last person that I ever knew that I didn't know personally, but I know somewhat their family afterwards, is Blake Snyder, Officer Blake Snyder from St. Louis, who was absolutely ambushed and murdered on duty. And that man was a hero because his character, after I got to know his family, was one of the highest levels that, sadly he was taken. But I want to read this really quickly, and then I want to answer a question. I'm going to be reading from WTTW News. This is Chicago. This is a Chicago police officer who was killed over the summer. The family of police officer Krystal Rivera, who was shot in the line of duty this year by her partner. For those who don't remember, apparently a foot pursuit ensued, and she was shot. And it turned out, once she was shot, her picture was shared everywhere across the country. And there were no details, right? And then you find out her partner shot her, and then there were really no details. And I condemned the partner right away, right? My question was, what was his mindset? What was his background? What was his social media like? Was he always, fucking around online instead of paying attention to the duty? And there's more information. So I condemned him first off. And the way that I looked at it is, again, this is shitty, and I don't care. Why are we making her a hero when she's negligently shot by her partner? It's not a heroic action, and I don't care who's all butthurt about it. But the family of Officer Krystal Rivera, who was shot in the line of duty, fatally shot in the line of duty earlier this year, says the shooting came after she broke off a romantic relationship with him. There's a lawsuit her family filed, and this claim comes as a part of a 9-count wrongful death lawsuit filed by Rivera's family, who alleged that her partner, Officer Carlos A. Baker, Chicago police officer, failed to render aid and attempted to cover the shooting up after he fired a single shot that struck her in a foot pursuit in the Catholic neighborhood on June 5th. Quote, "We miss her laughter, her bold spirit, her light," Rivera's mother, Yolanda Rivera, said at a press conference on Thursday. "The grief does not ease with time. It does not ease. It follows us every day. From this moment on, my purpose is simple, that those responsible for her death must be held accountable." 100%, if this is the case. Officer Tater here, I appreciate that. Thank you. There needs to be criminal charges against this cop. But we're all going to focus on him for a second, right? I want to jump down this. Antonio Romanucci, an attorney for the Rivera family, said that Rivera and Baker became involved in an on-again, off-again romantic relationship dating back to 2023, which was known to other CPD officers. I've said this countless times. This is one of the biggest reasons that females should not be cops. You become familiar, and people start fucking, and it just completely has an issue in the work. There was a New York cop who you saw over last year who was beating the shit out of a guy trying to take him into custody, right? Instead of putting his hands in his back, he's pounding him. Guy's pants are falling off, everyone's laughing. And as the camera pans over, a female cop, well, she's slumped over in the arms of a bystander, face all bloody because that subject punched her in the face. Well, this was my thought. When you have any type of feelings, romantic or otherwise, men are going to amp up their level of aggression on subjects because of what happened. If Rivera and this other cop were involved in a romantic relationship since 2023, how much shit did they do together? How many scandalous arrests were they involved in? How many people did they go on the street and Rivera said something to some suspect mouthed off to her, and her partner slapped the shit out of him just because he's fucking her? This is a massive reason why women should not be cops on the street. And I'll get to that for those who are challenging my statement on it. Rivera eventually broke the relationship off after learning Baker was involved with another woman. Attorneys said Thursday that she, Rivera, threatened to inform the other woman of their relationship. So my question is this. Now, we're going what the family says. Family says that Rivera found out he was dating another woman, broke it off. For all we know, Rivera could have known. And that makes her a fucking a homewrecker if that's the case. So if we have people who are in this, if you're willing to have a dating relationship where you're having sex with a partner you work with, that's an integrity issue. And if she did have knowledge that he was involved with somebody else, you're cheating. So the problem I have with that is, why are we making her a hero when her morality should be called into question as well too? In the comments, again, I'm just going to address this because my voice allows it, and then I'm ending this early tonight, but I appreciate all you guys. I see you guys over in the chat. You guys, I appreciate you greatly. But this is what I posted. This was my statement yesterday, and of course it gained controversy. The latest information about the fallen female Chicago police officer is the exact reason I do not arbitrarily post pictures honoring cops killed in the line of duty, because we do not know their true character. Tragic what happened to her, but apparently she was having an affair with her partner and had threatened to tell his girlfriend about it. That's integrity. That's what we honor as a hero. I'm not throwing stones, as my own morality can be called into question, but I also won't call someone a hero just because they wear a badge. Not only is this more proof that females should not be cops because of the risk of sexual relationships developing, but it shows the back the blue, no matter what mindset, has poisoned the culture. This is from Moto Mistress on my Instagram, and it's a female. What's astonishing here isn't the alleged conduct of the female officer. It's the hypocrisy of ignoring the man involved. Well, number one, I did an entire post on him back in June. So I know that you wrote me a book today in my comment section, and because I get hundreds of comments a day, I wasn't able to address you, so I'm addressing you publicly now. She was shot and killed during a foot chase by her partner, who was also the officer she was romantically involved with, which is what I wrote in the comment. So if the argument is that her personal relationship somehow proves women shouldn't be cops, what does that prove about the male officer who pulled the trigger? Why is her alleged affair being used to discredit every woman in policing, while the fact that her killer was male isn't being used to discredit men? If we're going to apply morality, purity tests to the profession, then the standard must be consistent. You can't weaponize her private life while by pretending his doesn't exist, especially when he was the one who actually committed the crime. A fallen officer's personal relationship, whether wise or flaws, has zero impact on their service or the tragedy of their death. A fallen officer's personal relationship, whether wise or flawed, has zero impact on their service. That's being moral. Yes, if you have a cheating scumbag out there, if you have somebody who doesn't pay their taxes, if you have a cop who drinks and drives, you have a cop who does drugs, a cop who cheats on his wife, it 100% affects the integrity of what they bring to the profession. But the selective outrage here shows something important. Well, it wasn't selective. I covered it back in June. Her humanity is being scrutinized while his violence is being overlooked. To exploit a murdered officer's private life to push an anti-female rhetoric isn't integrity. It's just opportunistic misogyny. Her service is what defines her as an officer. Her murder is what defines her as a killer. And neither of those facts are changed by the complexities of personal life. Yeah, it's 100% changed by the complexities of personal life. And here's my ultimate statement. You have two genders, male and female. And if you put those two genders in the role of doing law enforcement, one gender is superior to the other, and that's male, simply because males have that physical factor, right? It's as simple as that. It's something that women will never be able to edge, and the exceptions don't disprove the rule. So if that's the case, I only want one gender doing that role, males. Now, if males can't keep their dick in their pants, why are we providing them temptation? It's really simple. It's the argument, yes, you may be right. These guys cannot fucking control their lust, their libido, all this shit. If that's the case, then I don't want a female partner with them rolling on midnights, developing an intimate relationship because they're literally in close proximity, sharing themselves, and then you putting that food in front of a guy who's been who's purposely going on a diet, right? Here's somebody who's in a position, you got to lose 100 pounds, I'm not going to eat anything, and then you go ahead and put chocolate cake right in front of them. But then you don't blame the women. As far as violence goes, I know a lot of women out there are saying, well, the amount of domestic violence relationships in men overshadows women. That's because women don't report, or men don't report it. The amount of men who get abused by women and never report it is absolutely insane. But ultimately speaking, and that's the last point I want to make, and I appreciate you guys hanging out on me on time. This is a Friday. Again, this is the last one I'm doing before January 9th because I got holiday parties coming up, Christmas, and I wish you guys just a damn good year. It 100% is the morality. It is. Sex and law enforcement, it's probably one of the most dirtiest industries. First department, and I'm not saying I am not above reproach on this one. I slept with other officers who didn't work for my department, but in my department, my first one, we had a female sergeant who was sleeping with guys. We had another female officer who, God, was a homewrecker and a half. She slept with two of the guys in our department and destroyed both of their fucking marriages, and they were cheating. Last department I was with, we had a female cop who allegedly got on because she was sleeping with the deputy chief. And if you know the deputy chief currently of the last department I was on, it's alleged that she only got that way because she was sleeping with the chief. So all those rumors where there's smoke and where there's fire. And females in law enforcement are probably some of the worst things on the planet when it comes down to getting petty. A lot of you guys know it when it comes down to this crap. And ultimately speaking, to kind of put a finer point on my issue is, if we're going to say that it takes two to tango, well, then fucking take one off the dance floor. It's as simple as that. I'm going to say that what happened to her was horrible, but if she's put in that position knowingly and other coworkers knew about it, and there's a high risk for some type of violence going there, then remove her from the process. Simple as that. We have to stop making females cops because they put themselves in danger, and then we act like they're not contributing to it. So 100%, you know, a lot of somebody we're talking about the other day, victim blaming. Sadly, this is not victim blaming, but it kind of is, and I'll own that, because if we're going to put females in this position to be around men of violence, and you're going to take pussy off the table after you give it to him, and then you're going to threaten him for shit. It's a dangerous place to be. So ultimately, keep women out of this profession because we want men having that edge in the first place, that assertion level, not necessarily aggression. It is what it is. Let me read some of your comments here. Strider's Way, Merry Christmas, everyone here. Be safe and warm, 100%. And Nathan, Merry Christmas to you too. I appreciate that. The Dr. Magnum. I hit 225 on the bench this week. How do you feel? How do you feel on that, man? I got peptides coming, so we're going to see how my shoulder's going to do. D. Jillian, what's up? Head cold, man. Jim Thompson, an officer acting outside the color of law is a criminal and the public safety threat, USSC ruling. No, I don't know that. Rancho Relaxo, got that right, baby girl, whoever you're talking about. That is what it is. First Best Gigi. Again, Officer Tater Hater, appreciate that. You bought me a pack of gum today. Yeah, Strider's Way, I got a little bit of sinus. I went through the, I take the train out to California from Chicago, and it goes up and down the Colorado Rockies and in California. So we're up 2 miles when we go through this valley. I think I can't remember where it's at, but the altitude change always fucks up my sinus by the time I got here. So anyways, this is the last live for the year. Appreciate everybody who's been supporting the channel, helping it grow, all that. I'll be back January 9th, but I'll be uploading, obviously, content throughout the rest of the year here. Support the channel. Many ways to do so. I will start lives again then for Sunday for roll call, because we're not doing roll call again either. For those who want to get involved in our Sunday night roll calls, they're not streamed live. They're just a private group of people who are going to be going over the content that I cover. So if you guys are like, hey, what are you covering for the week? You guys help me. Those who are getting involved, there's a ton of work. You guys keep sending me awesome information to my email, coptalklive911@gmail.com. I cannot thank the hundreds of emails I have to go through of cases and issues. People are asking me to be expert witnesses in issues and their cases, and I'm gladly doing that for them. But in order to find out what you want me to cover for the week, that's what Sunday nights are for. That's our roll call. To get involved with it, that's members only. That helps support the channel to grow. So you can become a member at either Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. You sign up, you become a member, and then you have access to getting with me on Sunday nights to say, hey, in Acmeville, Alabama, on this December, we have this police officer doing this, and then we review it together to say, hey, okay, this is what we want. And you guys get involved with it. I give you guys assignments. There's a lot of research that needs to be done. If I say, hey, can you look into this and give me some information and validate it? A lot of you guys are awesome enough to do that. So it's becoming a great, awesome team, and I appreciate you guys. And to get involved with that, again, go to Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. The links are in the description of these videos, and click on it and become a member. Other than that, guys, this channel blew up over the year, 2025. I really started in March of 2025. I made the decision to go back to law enforcement exclusively. And because of you guys, this has become the biggest workload I have. I did make the decision, and it was a lot of you guys too, because there's a lot of changes I can't make. The biggest way that I can make changes is by getting my law license. So it was a decision made that in 2026, I'll be pursuing a law degree, and I'll be taking on the criminal justice system. I don't know if it's either going to be civil rights lawyer or it's going to be defending criminal defense attorney. But I think that that's the route that I have to go with my experience, and I'm going to be pursuing it with extreme aggression and passion for holding criminal cops and their accountability. So that's that. Guys, I appreciate you. Have a great damn rest of 2025. Text me if you need anything, 708-982-0974. Send me an email, coptalklive911@gmail.com, and share the videos. Help us continue to grow. Also, don't forget Copville OG, Antihero Podcast, everybody else out there who that I'm aligned with. Make sure you follow them and support them as well too, because they are doing just as much work as I am, and they're extremely important to me. So if you support me, support Mike from Copville OG, support Tyler from Antihero Podcast, and yeah, let's make 2026 bad fucking ass. I'll see you guys next year.